Here's more of the Alice Stewart Show on 96.5 The Voice.
Welcome back to the Alice Stewart Show, 634, talking Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act, specifically in this segment, the healthcare.gov website. And it's no secret that as this rolled out in October, it's been fraught with problems and folks not being able to sign up, not being able to pay. We don't really have any answers as to how many have signed up, how many have actually just put their name in their shopping cart. We just don't know. And it's been one mistake after another. But you'll be encouraged to know that doesn't stop this company from pursuing more work and being a thriving, profitable business in the free market economy. Here to talk about that. Also in studio here, Jason Klein, the Arkansas Director for Americans for Prosperity, joins us. On the phone, we have Patrick Howley. He is the Daily Caller investigative reporter. Patrick, great to have you here.
Great to be here.
And this is disturbing. On your article here on dailycaller.com, it is CGI, which is the company that strung together healthcare.gov. After healthcare.gov was rolled out, CGI earned 6 more contracts with the federal government. Patrick, that's disturbing.
Yeah, and not just with the federal government, but with the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, which hired them to do the website. So between October 1st, when the website launched, through January, they got 6 more contracts and contract modifications, totaling about $37 million. From the very people that hired them to do the website. And in fact, the spokesman told me that, for CMS to get rid of their contracts with CGI, he said something along the lines of, that does not speak to the relationship that CGI has with CMS.
I wish it would be any other company, any other business agreement in the world. If you fail that bad, you would certainly have to readdress the terms of your contract. So CGI made over $600 million on healthcare.gov. When that was a disaster, CMS said, hey, let's give this company another $37 million since they did so smashingly on this last one. I mean, that's a disgrace.
That's government, though, right? Like double down on failure, ultimately?
Right. Patrick?
Yeah, and not only with CMS, but they also have a multi-billion-dollar agreement with the Department of Homeland Security, and they run something for the Army called the Human Terrain System, which is also a huge failure, where they send professors of linguistics and various academics into Iraq, into war zones, to embed with soldiers to teach them about the culture and the diversity of the local populations, and the Army completely hates it. So they just have a record of failure in whatever they do in the last couple of years. Again, it's the U.S. arm of a relatively new Canadian company, and they're getting a ton of federal government contracts. One of their top executives, Tony Towns-Whitley, had Christmas dinner at the White House with her old Princeton classmate Michelle Obama. They were good friends in college. So you see what looks to be extreme cronyism. Nobody's calling it out. So it's allowed to just continue the way it's been going.
You don't think that was just a coincidence, Patrick? It's a small world there, D.C., Michelle Obama. No, I agree with you. No one's calling it out except for you, Patrick Howley, the Daily Caller. The Daily Caller has shown a light on this many times. Unfortunately, the left-leaning media is not going to do so. One last thing here, Patrick. It's excellent article, good information. Of course, as you mentioned in your article, Kathleen Sebelius says that, yes, they've been awarded additional contracts and, nothing you can do about it. In terms of CMS, the actual arm that's in charge of this, you have gotten no feedback from them whatsoever.
No, they have yet to respond and explain to me why CGI is still getting contracts.
Were these competitively bid? Do we know? I mean, was that run through the standard RFP process, or is that known?
No, the Obamacare website that CGI got, that was a no-bid contract. So, I mean, that was well reported during the launch. It was a no-bid contract. So, and some of these contract modifications as well, no bid. So, there's no law necessarily, or there's no rule or no oversight about having a competitive bidding process that works each and every time.
Wow.
You would think that, at some dollar amount threshold, the cronyism would have to stop, but it just doesn't. And in D.C., I guess that this is somewhat expected, although it shouldn't be.
Right. And even more so, like you said, a dollar amount. So we're talking already that we know about. Patrick, there's no telling what else that you still have yet to uncover, but we're looking at already $637 million with a company that has repeatedly failed on a major policy initiative, and they're getting more contracts. Patrick, one last thing. Is there anything that can be done, or do you think should be done, or is anyone talking about, like, hold on, let's stop awarding contracts to CGI?
Well, it's hard to do because, the administration doesn't have to answer to a press that holds them accountable, so they can basically, do pretty much whatever they want. Every time there is a serious scandal, like the IRS targeting scandal or something else, it's played off as a gaffe, or it's played off as a fatuous little thing. And so I think you're seeing in one of the first administrations in history who's not accountable to the public just by virtue of the fact that nobody's holding them accountable. And so they basically have a blank slate to do whatever they want.
Right. Well, unlike the president's take on the IRS story, there's, my mind, much more than a smidgen of corruption with this story dealing with CGI. Patrick Howley with the Daily Caller. Thank you so much, Patrick, and we look forward to talking soon.
Okay, thank you, Alice.
Appreciate you. All right, it's just astounding.
Yeah, maybe, last week it was Fox News' fault. Maybe soon it'll be Daily Caller's fault.
Yeah, it's Patrick's fault.
It's Patrick's
He's done
fault.
this. He continues to funnel contracts to CGI. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. I want to hear Americans for Prosperity's latest push to remind folks that all of this going on with Obamacare and healthcare.gov and all of this wasteful spending and impact of the Obama policies, it's not about politics. It's about the people. We'll talk about that coming up on The Alice Stewart Show.
The Alice Stewart Show on 96.5 The Voice.